And take a look at what's happening in Odisha. In Odisha, if we actually get down, can things change? It's just fun and games in the studio right now, but these are political games that are being played in the real world and efforts being made to see what can happen. See, this is quite phenomenal. Big gains for the BJP coming from Odisha. 11 seats up from the last time. BJD is 11 seats down from the last time in the Lok Sabha elections. It's really Uttar Pradesh which messed things up for the BJP. 36 leads. Forget 70, 80. There were those in the BJP who say 80 आएंगी, 70 तो आनी ही है. They're down to 36, down 28 seats from the last time. India Alliance is 7 seats above the NDA, 35 for the SP, 36 for the NDA, Congress at 8. In fact, if I look at a seat-by-seat breakup, SP has one more seat than the BJP. Akhilesh Yadav is one of the big heroes of this election. Chandrababu Naidu, big hero. Yes. Akhilesh Yadav, big hero. And then
Sharad Pawar, in his own small way.
Mamta Banerjee.
So lots of, you see, it's normally last two elections, it's all been about Prime Minister Modi. This time you have state-level leaders who are spreading their wings out, who are also showing that they're doing. Odisha, the BJP's campaign in Odisha, Dharmendra Pradhan and others.
You need to also give it to Sharad Pawar. See, he did, numbers are one thing, but he held on to this
He's kept the alliance going together.
It's just unbelievable. He was the principal architect of this.
And what an election. You know, you went, Rahul, to Baramulla. Think about it. Voters should know. You mentioned Amritpal Singh. Engineer Rashid is leading in jail, arrested, and I mean, people may have differences about Engineer Rashid's politics, but he's a fine man. And his son alone did the campaign. Guess what? At the moment, he is leading.
No, and Omar Abdullah is doing quite badly. Huh? Just 79,741.
This is a vote against, please understand.
Chief Minister, actually.
Sir, Engineer Rashid is a vote for the, the government must also take note. The manner in which people were arrested under the Public Safety Act. It's one thing to abrogate Article 370. But when you arrest someone like Engineer Rashid, people are hearing, public ki awaaz suniye. Netas are being told that, including those at the very top in this country. Another such, a result like this is coming from Boshirhat. Remember Sandesh Khali dominated the headlines. Trinamool is winning big in Boshirhat where Sandesh Khali is.
That is an unfortunate result. I mean, if you on one side look at Prajwana's thing and here you Sandesh Khali, you can't have a flip argument.
Sir, the Shah Jahan Sheikh by all is a land grabber and therefore deserves to be. But there was also
you need to give the women victims benefit of doubt there. You can't be saying that 2,000 rupees li aur badal diya unhone apna.
There are two stories coming out. All I'm saying
this two-story theory can have to, then that has to be put in till everywhere, even for Prajwal Revanna, till the courts do not stamp in. He's still accused at best.
I'm not going to dispute with you. I think till the court comes out with a verdict on Shah Jahan Sheikh, we should hold our
There are days when things go your way, if this is cricket. And there are things, and I very firmly think that there's lots of similarities between cricket and politics. There are days when, those balls which otherwise take an edge and go to the boundary, sometimes that doesn't happen and they go. It's just like BJP is having a bad day. Because remember, they were at 243. From that, the BJP is now fallen 6 to 237. So the BJP's individual ask to get to 273, which is the magical figure, is becoming tougher.
We have a Congress guest waiting. Suddenly, congressmen and women are coming. JB Mathur is their Rajya Sabha MP. She's joining me, very articulate. JB Mathur, are we looking at the possibility at all of you trying to form a government? These are still, these are not final trends. The BJP is still, NDA is still 17 above the halfway mark. But there is talk of Sitaram Yechuri possibly reaching out to Chandrababu Naidu. And there is talk of even Nitish Kumar being wooed. Is that possible, or do you concede that the government will be a BJP government?
Rajdeep, politics is the game of possibilities. And in this scenario, there's a lot of game that can happen. And let me also assertively say this is a moral victory of India bloc and a moral defeat for NDA and Prime Minister himself. Because there was so much of hype about 400 par, and also even including your channel, we were disappointed that even India today showed 401 for the NDA to come back. I mean, so nowhere to exit poll. Exit poll is totally different from the exact poll is the reality. Now the possibilities, let's wait because there are a lot of seats where we are hopeful, where the margin is still less. So a lot more to happen, expect. But this is the true spirit of democracy, and there is no space for hatred and the kind of divisive politics the BJP and Prime Minister himself. I mean, the level to which he has stooped. It is a fact that India has not taken it.
Below 240. Yeah, but ma'am, I just want to understand, you're still well behind the BJP. You're leading at the moment in about 90 odd seats. Is there a sense that this is the Congress, it's a glass half full, but your glass is also half empty? The BJP on the other hand is 237. So the gap is big still between the BJP and the Congress.
Well, that I agree. But still, the fact remains what was told. BJP said 400 par and we said 295. We did not say 400. So from what we said, we are sticking on. The game is still going on and we are hopeful, and there's a lot more of things to come out. And certainly, at least for once, you agree that this is not a Modi thing anymore in our country.
That clearly is a message that's coming out. The fact is that this whole Modi factor, and it's been a big factor in this election. Rajat, would you concede that Modi ki guarantee? This election was fought under one man, single agenda. Forget all the other candidates. It was fought under Prime Minister Modi's name. To that extent, these numbers, if they are 60, 70 less than 303 that they got last time, clearly somewhere is a message.
Well, the flip interpretation could be that had Modi's name not been there, BJP would have been same way as where Congress is. Because, it is still his credibility which could have pulled them to a level where, at least ECI side says that NDA has 300 seats right now where they're leading. So see, Modi is the biggest competitor to Modi. We have been so used to this total domination of Prime Minister Modi for 10 years that this new reality where BJP is less on the majority number and NDA looking still at 300, which otherwise would have been a fabulous news. Here we are still whining about this sort of a number.
We are getting news. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Chandrababu Naidu. So while the left may be trying to contact it, the Prime Minister, who is a pre-poll ally of Chandrababu Naidu, has spoken to Chandrababu Naidu and has been assured, we are told, of Babu's support. So we expect Chandrababu Naidu to pitch his support in with the BJP, with which he fought the election in this Mahakutumi.
So all wishful thinking aside, Rajdeep, I still believe since BJP is the single largest party, they would be called in to prove a majority. And once Prime Minister Modi is back into his groove as the new Prime Minister, you will see he will be able to pull all the strings to ensure that you have the Chandrababu Naidus, you have the Nitish Kumar in a different equation. I'm sure
so
they will extract
different style of governance?
Different style of, certainly. I mean, the Prime Minister will, he's so nimble. This is where his nimbleness would be tested also.
That's right. This is the first time he'll have to deal with coalition politics.
This is the first time, I mean, in 20 years.
What Prime Minister Modi is used to.
For 20
he's
years.
Never had to deal
But he's
with
flexible.
allies.
I will say this about Prime Minister Modi. Never underestimate Prime Minister Modi at times like this. He will show you that he can also work with allies. जब पप्पी देनी है, जब झप्पी देनी है, झप्पी दे देगा. अब दे देगा, why not?
He will come back for sure in the evening to address the Karyakartas the way he has been doing, and he will exude confidence to an extent. I'm telling you, I don't see him changing his style that much. He would be much more humble in his approach.
Subdued. Let's be honest.
Little bit subdued.
Below 272, you can't do balle all the way.
But he will not even leave that plank wherein you start, your body language starts showing. See, you are giving cricket analogy, but on the ground, if your body language droops first, you are bound to lose that match.
But
and this match is not lost.
Put this in context. He's a 10-year sitting Prime Minister. After that, for the BJP to come to the kind of tally that it has is no mean feat. Make no mistake, it's just that sometimes you get carried away by all the hype and the hoopla. 237 leads for the Bharatiya Janata Party at this moment. The NDA is comfortably placed. Just rewind 10 years and imagine if someone had said that you'd have 237 after 10 years of being in power. This is a very historic feat by itself. It's nowhere close to the chakkas and chokkas they were thinking about. So it's not gone the way they wanted. But by itself, once the dust settles, once Rajdeep's had his say, he's done his dance and jig, the fact is it's a very strong position. Huh?
We are not dancing.
When there's no dance, my kids are very happy. They said, please don't dance and expose your limitations as a dancer. But Thiruvananthapuram is turning out to be the kind of
Thrissur
constituency.
BJP has won. That's one.
Yeah, so
that's one of the major
have they won
good
as
news.
yet, or they're leading at the
First-
moment?
No, I think they have won. It has been announced.
Declared?
Okay. No, I'm not sure it's been declared yet, because I'm not sure any
we
seats
have to
have been
take hot
declared.
seat, Rajdeep.
But we can look at Thrissur and Thiruvananthapuram.
So I'll take Thiruvananthapuram. 1,50,000 for Rajiv Chandrasekhar in our calculation, 1,33,000 for Shashi Tharoor. Panyan Ravindran
Because
of the CPI
Dr.
is
Tharoor has just sent me a message. I'm leading by 192 votes now.
Woo!
192.
So
He's
as I
claiming he's
said,
leading
in
by
case you're
192.
wondering why a candidate has information which is faster than ours, is because he and his people are sitting at the counting centers. By the time it comes into the data net servers, by the time it comes into our system, it takes a bit of a lag. So it'll show up very quickly. But any candidate can obviously say, I'm a little ahead. That's because that's a centralized processing system. The critical thing here is how many seats are currently in contest. What can change? This is going to be a long afternoon. If I look at the seats where the margin is less than 10,000 votes, if I look at the margin at this moment in the national tally, 80 seats, where the other interesting thing, Rajdeep, is the EC calculations are now moving slower. It's not changing quite as much.
has tweeted right now
Yes, slow
saying that why has it slowed? And are you getting instructions? See, this is the mistrust you can't have on our institutions. I mean, you go on and on and on. At least have the humility right
But
now.
nothing is changing
But the
also.
mistrust is not just political.
No,
As I
there
said
could
this
be-
morning, CSDS survey said only 28% of Indians think of the EC as neutral anymore. And that's worrying. So I think the opposition
See, but
has to
that
be...
is propaganda, right?
The opposition I can understand, but people, then that's worrying, right? Opposition will try and do whatever they can because they believe that don't trust any
No,
institution.
but that is the vote share of the opposition party in any
hopefully
way.
that
So
will
they'll
change.
continue to say.
Oh, but
Okay.
can we
So
get
let's
Thrissur? Can we
No,
get Thrissur in Kerala?
I'll show you
because
Thrissur.
it could be history. The first ever seat that the BJP would have won in Kerala.
In the larger national picture, there are 80 seats where the ball is up in the air, where we cannot say who will win or lose for sure.
By the way, there's a terrific story going on also in Inner Manipur. Remember, this was hit by violence. And there are surveys right, because Professor Bimal Aukejam, the Congress candidate, is leading in Inner Manipur, which was an area where, remember, some of the worst violence took place. So there, in a seat which you would have expected the BJP to win, it is Mr. Professor Aukejam who's leading.
You know, I remember when, the Manipur's unrest was unraveling and, I had moved out of the state in 2022. There were a couple of professors, both Meitei professors based out of JNU. They were the first ones who started presenting the Meitei perspective other than the Kuki perspective, which was already getting a lot of media attention. It was from there that Professor Bimal Aukejam called me to JNU and we were having all these deliberations, what should be the future of Manipur. And lo and behold, Congress did not find any, candidate within the state itself, and they had to paradrop a JNU professor, take them there, and good for him, he's winning.
So that's
Manipur.
a big one. The other big one, two sitting former chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir trailing, both Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti.
Okay, so those are images from Rahul Gandhi's residence. He and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra have just left. We'll see a different, Rahul, we'll see a different Congress party also.
Chola bhaturas have come good.
No, and with good reason. For a long time, they were written off. The BJP's propaganda was such that these are useless nincompoops, that they're not capable of doing the job. I think the people of India have spoken otherwise. And that's something that everyone will need to respect. Okay.
No, but think about it. Even Ayodhya, Faizabad, BJP is trailing. Now, all the hype over Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha, 5 months later, in the constituency where the Ram Mandir has been built. Now, what is the explanation? The voter has his own way of seeing what. He's happy with the Ram Mandir, but he's not voting on the Ram Mandir.
The explanation is you had a candidate who had a lot of anti-incumbency. Lallu Singh had won from only 65,000 votes the last time. You got your caste calculation right. And with the anti-incumbency, it all came together.
But Preeti, that shows how the election at one level got localized.
Of course.
You see, you look for a national narrative, and we all went looking for a national narrative.
This is an election where at least the opposition has been able to bring it down to a 543-seat election.
Absolutely.
A seat-by-seat election.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Rahul, you wanted to show us
I want to
something.
spend some time trying to explain to people what has changed. Remember, these are priceless insights you cannot find anywhere. It's not nobody's opinion. This is not pontification. This is based on data. Now, if you look at the losses of the NDA, they've lost in different categories of seats. But where have the biggest losses come from? The biggest losses have come on seats which are classified as Dalit-dominated seats. 37 such losses on seats where Dalits are in a substantial position to be able to influence the verdict. 37 such losses are coming to the BJP. They've lost some everywhere. They've lost a few tribal seats, they've lost a few OBC seats, but the move away from the BJP of Dalit votes is one of the significant takeaways from this election. It is big news. Make no mistake, this
changes everything that BJP was standing upon. See, they thought that the Hindutva politics is consolidating and not allowing it to become a Swiss cheese, wherein you have small pockets voting for you within the Hindutva umbrella. If that project fails, a lot of projects will fail for the BJP.
Okay, now if I look at the tribal-dominated seats, now out of the 68 tribal-dominated seats, the NDA is in 46, which means it's just lost a little bit of ground on the tribal-dominated seats. So no major loss. Just stay with me. These few minutes will explain to you what has happened in this election. Very marginal losses for the BJP in the tribal-dominated seats. If I come to the general category seats, in the general category seats again, very small losses. 86, 12 down, India Alliance at 48, 29 up, but they've largely held on. Relatively speaking, they've largely held on. From there, let me now come to the OBC seats. In the OBC seats, again, the NDA largely holding on, 192 down just 2. On the OBC dominated seats, down just 2. So in 3 categories of seats, on the tribal seats, on the general seats and OBC seats, the NDA is barely losing. If I come to the Muslim dominated seats, here the NDA is down from 50 to 41, that's 9 down. The India Alliance is 51 to 14. Again, some change but not very significant. The biggest change, ladies and gentlemen, and these are insights that I can pull out only from the election intelligence dashboard being pulled out for you in real time. The story of this election, the switch of Dalit votes away from the NDA alliance in the previous election to the India alliance. 34 seats down the NDA on Dalit-dominated seats, 156 seats where different Dalit communities are in a position taken together to influence the verdict. The BJP leading only on 47. India Alliance on 93, 37 of those for the Congress, 20 for the Samajwadi Party. Remember, in a state like Uttar Pradesh, the moment you've got the Yadavs and the Muslims significant enough by themselves, add to that the Dalit vote bank. That, Rajdeep, is the story of Uttar Pradesh and how it's turned and why.
You know, Uttar Pradesh is clearly among the various state stories, and there are lots of state stories here, from Maharashtra to Odisha to Bengal. The story that is standing out is Uttar Pradesh, because over the last decade, the BJP has been totally dominant. And you would have thought that with a powerful chief minister like Yogi Adityanath and a powerful prime minister like Narendra Modi contesting himself from Varanasi, that double engine would be overwhelming the opposition. I mean, the opposition today deserves credit for having run a superb campaign in UP. By the way, important, BJP has reached 300. Rajat reminding me again, NDA has reached 300. Out of that, if you can tell us how much the BJP is, Rahul, that would also be useful. But at the moment, the BJP has the NDA has reached 300, and 300 is psychologically important because it then gives you a buffer over 272.
So 245 now. They'd come down to as low as 237. From 237, they've gone up to 245, 8 up from their low point. Janata Dal United at 15, Apna Dal at 1, NDA hitting that psychologically significant 300 mark, giving NDA supporters some room to breathe. This is an exciting election. 225 leads for the India Alliance, out of which...
For me, the psychologically important mark for BJP is 240. Because if you look at, if you go below 240, then you're 32 below and you need 2 allies.
Rajdeep,
2 big allies to be with you.
Congress is 3 seats away from that psychologically significant triple.
What is clear, I think we can say this with some confidence, presumably Rahul Verma, BJP is unlikely to get a majority on its own. 272 at the moment seems a little bit far away.
Yes, now it looks very difficult, especially now we are like it's almost 130. The chances of BJP crossing 275 mark has become very difficult. What I would rather add to your point, Rajdeep, that I think BJP would be hoping to get 260 because 260 allows them to sort of like play with 1 or 2 allies.
Then you're comfortable. Then the allies are more dependent on you. At 240, you become more dependent on the allies, and that's important. So I think if the BJP remains Above 240, they'll feel a little bit more, or certainly above 250, let's say, they'll feel a little bit more secure. If they slip below 250, towards 240, then the allies will change the dynamics of this equation.
You know, today this India you put in as a bloc. It looks very uniform bloc, but it is not at all uniform. Had this been such a uniform bloc, they would have fought election together, because you put in parties like TMC into that bloc which were not together.
Yeah, but
so I'm telling you, see, if hypothetically they were crossing the number of 272, do you see that Khichdi alliance of India alliance would have been able to give you a stable party, stable government? Not at all. It's
absolutely
out of question.
Out of question. But the thing
is, the markets would have evaporated, like the 90% of would have gone away.
I agree. But what it does is gives the opposition a voice. You see, the opposition feels
true.
Chief Minister Hemant Soren gets arrested. Kejriwal gets arrested. You see, they feel that the entire system is ranged against them. Now they will feel there'll be voices within Parliament at least who will speak out every time they're targeted.
If you look at how close this battle has been, compare the vote share of the NDA with that of the India Alliance. The NDA's vote share is 45 of the votes counted so far. This could change towards the evening. 45% vote share for the NDA, 43% for the India Alliance. Only a 2% gap in terms of vote share. Those two curves, those two line graphs coming very close together. If I look at party-wise vote share, and give you a breakup of some of the important parties. The BJP's vote share is now down to 39.1. It had once touched 40.7. Last time they're 37.7. So they're 1.5% up from the last time. The Congress's vote share now stands at about 25.2. They'd come down to about 20. So from there, it's up about 5%. The Samajwadi Party's national vote share is 3.8, TMC at 3.4. If we look at a density map, and this will give you a very quick sense of how many seats are in contest. So look, it shows you the nature of the contest. NDA has 181 seats where their vote share is more than 50%, where you can say the NDA won strong. The India Alliance also has 125 seats where their vote share is 50% plus. So anybody who says the India Alliance was a weak coalition, that's not the case. The data is saying that almost on a relatively similar number of seats, they've done well too. The India Alliance currently has 221 seats where their vote share is between 40 and 50. The NDA has 178 seats where their vote share is between 40 and 50, showing really, Rahul Verma, the close nature of this contest. It's not been one-way traffic. 2014 was one-way traffic. 2019 was one-way traffic. This has been a very tight IPL, finally.
Yes, absolutely. And the heat map you've been showing across India map, it's very, very clear what seems to be happening is that states are going in one direction. There are some states where you are seeing a fight, meaning two parties are getting a large number of seats. Rajasthan would be one, UP would be one. But UP is a case where BJP is losing massively. And similarly, in Maharashtra, I think the BJP alliance are doing really badly.
Okay, so I just asked somebody who works very closely with Chandrababu Naidu about the conversation between the Prime Minister and Chandrababu Naidu. We're being told that there is zero chance of Chandrababu Naidu leaving. He will, of course, extract his pound of flesh, but there's no question, at least from the posturing that's happening, of leaving the NDA and joining the India Alliance.
Because people close to Nitish have also asserted that no chance of going back to India Alliance.
The one thing that Chandrababu Naidu and Andhra Pradesh needs is finances. Ideally, they would, of course, want special status. That's unlikely to happen, but they want finances. They'll have ministers in the government. They'll get ministers in the government now.
I want to show you how the votes have swung. In the 2014 elections, really the Congress's nightmare, the BJP suddenly increased their vote share in one election by 12%. The Congress lost 10% vote share in that election. Cut to 2019, where again the BJP was able to increase its national vote share by 7%. The Congress increased its national vote share by 1%. Now, the Congress has been able to increase its vote share by 5%, the BJP by 1%. So the Indian voters are signaling to everyone who's listening, forget the idea of a Congress Mukt Bharat. The Congress is here to stay. Jaisi hai, lade na lade, aaye. They'll get their act together whenever they do, but there's no going away from the reality that the Congress is here to stay, Rajdeep.
Can I get the Varanasi VVIP seat? Because there was a lot of interest. There was a lot of interest in that seat earlier today when the Prime Minister appeared in a tough fight with Ajay Rai. How is Varanasi and the Prime Minister doing at the moment?
And
He's
you know,
leading, but we need to know
he
margins
was-
as well.
He was trailing briefly, but I think...
No, it's a very comfortable lead.
70,000 as opposed to 5.5 lakhs last
The
time.
last time was a 4.5 lakh.
4 lakh
No,
80,000.
but the
Yeah, they are
counting is
still
still going
counting
on.
going on.
Yeah, 4 lakh, but it
Counting
is
is still-
definitely less than last time, and it reflects what's happening in Purvanchal. In Purvanchal,
That's
which BJP
yeah.
dominated last time, the BJP has faced a tough fight. I mean, that is the reality of this election. That
No, but
Uttar
the other
Pradesh
reality
has-
is that there's only Ajay Rai against him, no? So it's also
Ajay Rai is
one
not a
opponent,
bad candidate
one
now.
opponent,
Ajay
yeah.
Rai is
So the last time
not
it
a
was
bad candidate to have. At least he's a MLA who's willing to take the battle into the enemy camp. Not too
That I
many
agree,
congressmen are willing to even fight these elections.
Okay, look at the BJP's, when I look at seats, BJP is down 14 seats in Purvanchal from the last time. In Western Uttar Pradesh, they're down 6 seats. In Awadh, they're down 7 seats. In Bundelkhand, they're
so
down
Rahul, on
1.
that,
If I look at votes, in Bundelkhand, the BJP is down 7% votes from the last time. In Central Uttar Pradesh, they're down 4%. In Eastern Uttar Pradesh, they're down 2. In Western Uttar Pradesh, they're down 3. So in all parts of Uttar Pradesh, the BJP losing vote share. If I look at the Samajwadi Party swings and give you a sense of where the Samajwadi Party is gaining 19 leads for the Samajwadi Party in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, gains over the last time. Gains also coming from Western UP, 5. So obviously the SP-Congress alliance working much better than the SP-BSP alliance. If I look at votes now and give you a sense of where these leads are coming from, big leads for the Samajwadi Party in different parts of Uttar Pradesh. So that's really the breakup of what's happening in Uttar Pradesh at this moment. In terms of vote share, the NDA and the India Alliance in Uttar Pradesh at a dead heat, 44 versus 44 in Uttar Pradesh. That is one of the big stories of this election at this moment.
Among in state terms, it's the biggest story.
It is, and
because
what happens
it's
to
India's
Yogi
biggest
after this?
state. When that happens in Uttar Pradesh, I don't think anyone would have predicted, even in vote share terms, that the two sides would have been so close to each other. Yes, sir.
More importantly, because for BJP, UP matters much more, right? Like in BJP's 303 MPs, 60 were from UP, more than 60. So every 1 in 5 BJP MP comes from UP. And if BJP is going to go below, say, 50, then there are 50 or 45. Then
We've just heard that Chandrababu Naidu has told people around him that the swearing in Andhra Pradesh will happen on the 9th. On the 9th of June, they're saying the Prime Minister will attend. So clearly the messaging is that Prime Minister Modi stays, Prime Minister Chandrababu Naidu will very naturally have the Prime Minister come for his swearing in 9th of June.
The other story, Omar Abdullah has conceded defeat in Baramulla. Omar Abdullah concedes defeat in J&K's Baramulla. And look at the story. Mehbooba Mufti losing in Anantnag, Rajouri. But Omar Abdullah is losing to Engineer Rashid. Engineer Rashid, independent candidate fighting from jail. His son took over the campaign. And a friend of mine from Jammu and Kashmir is saying, sir, you all are all focusing on Uttar Pradesh. हमको statehood तो नहीं मिली है. इतना तो हमारे state को बोलो कि कम से कम they have a space in India. You know, it's a remarkable story, because I guess there's a message that Kashmiris are sending. We don't want our political representatives to stay in jail. Please allow them to come out and compete. I hope that happens. I hope that Engineer Rashid is released. To put someone under PSA for so many years, unacceptable in my view, but that's another story.
The NDA has hit the psychologically significant 300 mark again. 243 leads for the BJP, now just 30 away from the majority. So they'd come down to 236. Thodi jaan mein jaan aayi for BJP supporters. 236 has gone up to 243. 299 now. So it's really going to it's going to be like the tail end overs of an IPL match. It will go down quite to the wire. I want to see how many seats are still in play. At this moment, there are 76 seats where the margin between the party that's in the lead and the party that's at number 2 is less than 10,000 votes. 40 of those are with the NDA at the moment. 32 are BJP seats. 33 India Alliance seats. Congress at 13. Samajwadi Party at 10. TMC at 2. These are 76 seats. And if you look at the map of India, you quickly get a sense of where these seats are coming from. So if you look at the map of India, these are where the seats are coming from. So in Uttar Pradesh, there are lots of seats for the BJP where the margin is less than 10,000 votes, Rajdeep.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
North India and UP is slow first. Because otherwise the margin should have. And if you look at India Alliance as well, you will see a lot of seats are going to be for Samajwadi Party. because I think UP counting is
And also Akhilesh Yadav made it clear, hum log baithenge, told all his agents, you sit there till the last moment, nothing like last round hai, ye, wo, don't take any victory for. I think it's been so intense, the competition, and as was said earlier, polarized. Our politics has become so polarized. Rajat was saying, why is the opposition questioning the EC? Good point. But I think there's been such a lack of faith in institutions across the board in the last 5-10 years that people don't even want to believe that the election commission can conduct a free and fair election. It's worrying. I agree with you. But it shows the polarization.
And all the 40 seats for BJP